Hi, I'm Matt LeMay, and we are doing a Redcat Racing size comparison video today. Now, I've got the Volcano S30, which is a 1/10 scale monster truck, and the Volcano EPX, which is also a 1/10 scale monster truck, but it's the electric version of the Nitro. Now, as you can see, these are both the same size, they're both 1/10 scale. We're going to use the Volcano S30 here as our staple vehicle. Most of you have either owned this vehicle or have seen this vehicle, so we're going to use this because it's the most common vehicle that Redcat offers right now. Now, I'm going to leave this vehicle on the table, and we'll bring in other off-road vehicles, and we'll compare the size, just to give you guys out there an idea of the size of the vehicle that you're buying. Alright, we have the Tremor ST and the Tremor SG, which are 1/16 scale vehicles. These are electric, and as you can see, the 1/16 compared to the 1/10 scale Volcano, they're quite a bit smaller. Now don't let that size fool you, because these are still extremely fun and they're fast. Alright, well here we have the 1/10 scale Tornado S30. Now as you can see, it's about the same length, but the monster truck is obviously going to be taller and the tires are bigger. And here we have the 8th scale electric brushless Mirage buggy. Now you can see that it is longer. It's about the same width as the Volcano. I'm going to hold them up so you can see that it is definitely longer. Alright, let's move on to the 8th scale Hurricane XTR. I'm going to show you that they're about the same width. It's a little bit longer than the 1/10 Volcano. See the difference in the size of the tires. Normally buggy tires are smaller, but we're going up in scale, so they're getting pretty close to the size of the Volcano tires. Alright, well now we're getting into the big boys. As you can see, the 1/8 scale Terremoto is quite a bit bigger than the Volcano S30. The tires, compared to the Volcanoes, look huge. The truck itself is just, I mean, it's gigantic. Let me hold these things up so you can see top view. As you can see, the Terremoto is a big truck. It's one of the biggest in its class, as a matter of fact. And this thing is getting tremendous buzz on YouTube, on the forums. It's selling like crazy. This is a very popular truck, and you can see why. I mean, not only is it big, this thing is powerful, and it's fast. Especially when you lock that center diff, this thing does nothing but wheelie. Alright, but anyway, here we go. Comparison, Terremoto with the Volcano S30. Next, we'll move on to some 5th scale vehicles. Well, now we're into 5th scale. These are the big boys. Now this is a gas-powered Chimera. We also have the brushless electric version, which is the same exact size, just a different motor. As you can see, the 5th scale compared to the 1/10 scale Volcano, this is literally 2 times longer. I'm going to hold the Volcano up above this. You can see here's where it's twice as long. The tires on it, even though it's a buggy, are quite a bit bigger than the tires on this 1/10 scale monster truck. Now, 1/5 scale is just, it's huge, it's fun, it's a blast. Let's move on to the Rampage XT 1/5 scale monster truck. Well, here we have the 1/5 scale Rampage XT monster truck. So we can compare a 5th scale monster truck with a 10th scale Volcano S30 monster truck. Now, I don't have to stand here and tell you that this thing is big. I mean, you can tell by looking at it, and that's the whole point of this video, so you can see the difference in size between the other vehicles. Now, this is not only a bigger vehicle, the engine is much bigger. This is run by nitro, this is run by gasoline, and this one here has a 30cc gasoline engine. And it is powerful. It's got to be to move this behemoth around the yard. Now, I'm going to flip them on their sides so you can see the difference in width as well as height. I mean, this thing is just enormous. My body's falling off at this moment. That's okay. This thing is enormous. Let's go and compare now an even bigger monster truck, which is the Rampage MT. Well, now we have the Rampage MT, and as you can tell, this thing is an off-road beast. I've had this thing. I mean, it's not only is it just fast and fun in the yard, but this is a hill climber. This thing will climb hills like nobody's business. Anyway, let's get on to the size comparison. As you can obviously see, this thing is huge. Much bigger than the Volcano S30, which is to be expected. It's a 5th scale compared to a 10th scale. The tires are gigantic. I mean, even compared to the XT, which I know I said I'd use this as a staple, but in just a minute, I'm going to bring the XT side by side with the MT so you can see the difference between those two vehicles as well. But now I'm going to lift this one up on its side. And this one. And you can just see that the MT is enormous. This thing is huge. This also uses a 30cc gasoline engine, which is plenty of power. A lot of the competition actually use like 26cc. Yeah, this is a 30cc and it is a beast. Alright, let me go ahead and get the Rampage XT back up here so you can see the difference between the MT and the XT. Well, now we have the Rampage MT and the Rampage XT. And as you can see, the MT is a bigger truck. I know some of you have been wondering, you know, what is the main difference? Well, the MT is not only bigger in size, it's beefier. Now they both basically have the same body, same size body, same style. They've got the same engine. The MT though has got beefier parts on it. Basically the suspension, the H-arms and stuff, I mean they're more solid, they're bigger, they're beefier. Let me go ahead and lift both trucks up so you can see the top view, which it's going to go out of the camera, but you'll get the idea. There's a top view. I'm going to go ahead and also turn them sideways. Now it's going to cut off the ends, I'm sure, but you'll still get the idea of how big. I mean, both these trucks are huge. There's no doubt about it. But the MT is definitely a bigger truck. Now, Rampage line has an MT Pro, which is basically an upgraded MT. It's the same size, same tires, same wheels, same chassis, same motor, but it's got more aluminum parts on it. It's got aluminum suspension arms. It's just got much more aluminum on it. It's got a different tailpipe on it. It's got a tuned tailpipe, which gives it that raspy kind of a dirt bike sound, a two-stroke dirt bike sound. But it's the same size as the MT. Let's go ahead and move on now to the one that we have left, and that is the Rampage Dune Runner buggy. Okay, well now we have the Dune Runner, which is the 1/5 scale buggy from Redcat. It's a 4-wheel drive buggy. As you can see, it is big, and it is by far the longest vehicle that Redcat offers. Now it's also run by the 30cc engine. You can see by comparing it to the Volcano S30, I mean it's just gigantic. Here we have 1, 2, a little bit over 2 times longer. Of course it doesn't have that front bumper sticking out either, so you got to consider that it's just a bigger vehicle. The wheelbase is longer is what I should be saying. Let's go ahead now, because I know you're going to want to see this. Let's compare the Dune Runner with the Rampage MT, so you can see the size comparison between those. Well, I am now standing behind a mountain of complete awesomeness. I've got the Rampage Dune Runner on top of the Rampage MT. Now, I had to stack them on top of each other because they're just too long to have nose to nose on this table. You can tell by looking at the Dune Runner that the wheelbase is actually longer than the MT. In fact, this is the longest wheelbase vehicle that Redcat offers right now. But now either vehicle you get, I mean, you run these 5th scale vehicles between the size, the sound, the speed, the power, people stop and they stare. I mean, they don't just say, hey, what's he doing, and then look off. They stop and they watch you. Then they ask questions about these vehicles and just dream about owning them. I mean, these vehicles are amazing. They're fast, they're powerful, they're big, and they sound great. Well, in my opinion, the best sounding one is the Rampage MT Pro. With that tuned muffler, it gives it that dirt bike sound, and people hear that and they're just like, what on earth is that? Anyway, now that you've got everybody else drooling from watching your vehicles drive, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now maybe you have an idea of the size of the vehicle that you're buying when you buy with Redcat. And until then, have fun.